So this guy and this guy share practically the same engineering. That's like finding out that Sylvester and Tweety Pie are brother and sister. Greetings fans, hyperfans, and people just love looking for videos of cats on YouTube. Today we're looking at one of the more iconic members of the Predacons. This is Divebomb, or as MMC have called him, Talon. Again, we're looking at the JinBao oversized version of this. How oversized, I hear you say? Well, if I scoot him up to one side, I can bring in G1 Soundwave. How's that for a case of mass shifting? Talon is one of the more well-equipped members in this series, coming not only with a decently lengthed sniper rifle, a little bit thin. He comes with two feather-styled close-up blades, and he also comes with these little double guns, which are based on the MMC final finishing kit, meant to fill in the original of these guys' hollow arms. But even with all of these accessories taken off, he's still got more to him than most of the other figures. Because as well as the standard figure size here, which we can compare back with Tigress, he has a very large backpack.
Impressive wingspan. Very good.
Oh, what? These are plastic.
Which is obviously going to expand out to make the very iconic wings of Predacon. But despite all of that, the actual engineering on this figure is pretty much the same as the Tigress mold. The arms with their double elbows are near identical. The legs fold up in exactly the same way. The engineering on this is just incredibly clever and actually leaves him looking pretty much the equal when he goes into arm mode. So first of all, let's have a look at articulation on Falcon mode. He has entire neck on a plate for angling there. Again, that was supposed to, on the original, cover stuff up there, but doesn't quite work out in the same way. It's a ball joint from then on. There is a little bit of swivel in the neck. The beak opens and closes. The tail is on a separate ring around the waist, so there is independent leg and tail movement. The wings are pinned here on each side, so you've got in and out movement up to 90 degrees. The top part of the wing is on very wide ratchets, so you've got 90, 45, 0, minus 45, and not really any clearance down to minus 90 in any position. He does spread out a little bit wider there for when he goes into Predacon mode, and that will also give space for the flight feathers to spread out. The arms are pinned closed because obviously birds don't have arms. That would be weird. And the legs act independently, very little movement due to this piece, these pieces just knocking into things. He has got a little bit of an ab crunch, so you can pull those claws down for swooping in on your prey. The claws themselves are rather cool. And the main piece is the back claw with the front two as a single piece coming down. So you can give him a really nice swooping in classic raptor attack pose. You can, if you get the feet right, bring him in, hunched down with a very raven-like look. You just saw the weapon storage in bird mode. Let's have a look at turning him into a robot. Getting Divebomb into robot mode is pretty much using tricks that we'd seen before. The legs open up and extend like virtually every other bot except for Blitzclaw. Here, more than most, you have to be a little bit careful of the clearance with the feet. You really have to line up the 3 moving sections in the middle. I like to keep that ab crunch to the front. Straighten the waist up, and then just push the back claws down and the double claws up to give him his pretty iconic knee pads. The arms literally unfurl and let you pull the hands out. The head's quite an interesting transform on this. Straighten it up. The entire face flips down. And the top half of the bird beak just runs down until it locks in there, leaving a very happy expression on his rather flat little face. Whereas the Tigress mode had a little flap at the front with empty space in it, this one actually does something. In here we get a look at a combiner plug, which means if I just take the backpack off as well, so I can show you the other combiner plug. Because there is a 6th member of this team, you can either have this guy as an arm and just use this on the back, or smack that back into Talon, bring this out and fold him up to put the entire robot onto Predacon's back and use the 6th member as the other arm. That's something that I will show you, but it's not something I'm going to be displaying. If you are likely to be taking these apart, reforming them pretty often, I would pretty much ignore the combiner port in Talon's back when it comes to attaching his wings. Just pop that back, and these 4 pegs will actually hold there pretty sturdily, and it means that you're not having to weaken one of the strongest combiner ports that I've seen on any Gestalt figure for a very long time. There isn't a lot to add in the review of this about articulation. The head is on a ball joint, the arms are exactly as we've seen before, with a single joint, shoulder, bicep swivel, double elbow, and very limited hands. Waist crunch, ratcheting knee, and a very weak ratchet at the hips on this guy. pin and ball joint foot. The wings obviously identical to bird mode. First time round, I'd actually stopped collecting Transformers by the time the Predacons came out. This was the first time I'd seen a Gestalt group with very similar colour schemes. I love the fact that this homage keeps all of those details, but just updates it with a lot more posability, a lot more detail, and of course the ability to arm him up however you want. I do like putting these double guns up on the shoulders, especially for when that goes into Predacon mode, which we are getting closer and closer to seeing every day. Thank you for sticking with me through Predacon week. Those are the 5 Predacons we remember from G1. So what are we going to see tomorrow? I've been Macula, you've been fabulous. Hit the thumbs up, leave me a comment, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Nice.